Dutch, whatever.
The Dutch fireplace.
Oh,
In
okay.
Spanish as in yes, no.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
No, that's not so specific.
So on the mantelpiece at home in our house was a Delft ornamental pipe. So a Delft is a Dutch pottery. It's white and blue, and it was an ornamental pipe, and so on. It was sitting on our mantelpiece. And back to those formal Sunday dinners when Bruce had to wear his shoes to come to dinner. The routine was Dad would carve, Mom would serve the vegetables. We'd all sit down, sort of have polite conversation or whatever. And then the boys had to take all the dishes into the kitchen, and Mom would make dessert. Maybe she'd whip some cream or get the ice cream out, or
Profiterole.
get the cream puffs out. Yeah. And so Dad had to keep these impatient preteens engaged at the table. So we'd all say, "Dad, tell us a war story." And he is, because of the nature of his time in the war, he didn't suffer from PTSD because he wasn't on the front line directly. And so he would tell anecdotal stories about his events during the war. And he told a story about when they had left Italy and they had moved up to the move into Germany. The Americans were going through the Battle of the Bulge, and the Canadians were pushing through Belgium and Holland and so on, and that's where they were. And they arrived in this town in Belgium, and the men had to, there's a hierarchy, the men had to set up tents and stuff, and the officers would typically go to the mayor of the town and were billeted in an empty house or something like that. So, and he was the officer on duty when they arrived, and it happened to be the day that the rations, the food supplies came, and each soldier got his rations for a week. And in those rations included a chocolate bar. So
Every soldier got
got a chocolate bar. And it had been super tough in Belgium under the Germans, and the kids had nothing, and Dad, who loved kids, as we all know, he put the order out to the quartermaster that everybody's chocolate ration would be given to him. So this week the soldiers didn't get a chocolate bar, and he took all the chocolates and he went over to the mayor of the town and said, "This is for the children of the town." It'll come to me, the name of the little village in Belgium. And so that was very well received, of course. And so the mayor of the town gave, as a thank you to Dad, the pipe, which was sat on a mantelpiece.
Not just a trinket.
And so when in 1987, when Deb and I and Mom and Dad went back to Holland and Belgium, first time since the war, so 45 years later or whatever, we went to the same town. And we met the mayor. Well, the mayor happened to be the son of the mayor in 44.
Wow.
And he said, "I remember that pipe because it used to be on our mantelpiece, and I remember my dad giving it
Oh my gosh.
to you,
Wow.
Pops."
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
such a
so it's a
crazy
lovely,
Wow.
full circle story.
World War
So
II
when it was about military during the war and after the war,
Yeah.
that's a story. That,
Oh my gosh, yeah, I would have thought that.
yeah,
I've never heard that story.
yeah.
That's
Where's
where
this pipe?
Yeah, where's
Well,
the
unfortunately, the pipe was broken in the move to Ottawa, or between the first house in Ottawa to the second house. So we don't have it anymore.
I thought it was in the, I think it is there.
I think it's in the, the.
China cabinet?
Yeah,
I don't think so. But if you can find it, please tell me no, but
okay, I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
I don't think so. But anyways,
Okay.
so Dad's stories about the war were all anecdotal, heartfelt stories about challenges during the war. Like he also told a story about when his unit was going through Italy. It was a unit from Nova Scotia. They were artillery, and they were mainly Protestants, right? And in those days, it was a deal if you're Scottish, a Catholic or Protestant, right? Anyways, he was the only officer that was Catholic, and so when they were near Rome, they got invited to send the soldiers to the Vatican, to the Sistine Chapel, and there would be a mass, and the Pope attended. And so Dad,
That's a
being
big
the
deal.
only Catholic officer, he organized, okay, all the Catholics, let's go. They got in a truck or whatever, and they went, and they're there. And the guys were so excited, but they weren't particularly well schooled in religion, anyways. And protocol, anyways. And so the mass was said, and the Pope came down, and he was leaving the Sistine Chapel, and one of the guys just got up and said, "3 cheers for the Pope!" And my dad's going,
Hip hip hooray!
And then the Pope was kind of surprised.
well,
It's like,
He gave him a fist bump.
Pope's first rodeo, I'm sure he figured it out.
well, at least it was like appreciative, positive.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Anyway,
like down with the
there's a half dozen stories like that that have survived of anecdotal stories during the war. Yeah.
Army